So at the time of recording this yesterday, on the 16th of December, Kent was continuing his reading of Psalms, adding in something about the dying words of atheists, and the stream was going fine, save for the fact there's no audio. You just jump through, and Kent keeps on talking. Just going to town. And if the chat will actually update, at a point, people start calling it out, saying, "Hey, there's no sound." Everyone's saying, "Doing good," "Bless you," blah blah blah, all their typical stuff. At this point, we're 7 minutes in, no sound at all. It goes on, and Joseph's like, "Can you hear the slide doc played?" It's like, "No." I'm going to presume that's Joseph since he's the tech guy. And this is no hate on him. Me and him are, as far as I am taking things, on a pretty good standing. Um, he seems to genuinely try. I feel like something just seriously, some major system somewhere, like a system that was, it was just the way things were set up over there, spare computer or two, just completely fucked up. And they're having to make do with what they can. Or they're trying something new and the setup just is not working like it should. But of course, can't skip a day, so he's just gotta roll with it. Because I swear the last video or two, you could hear and see the chat for I think it's Restream they use, for the service coming up, and you even caught a few glimpses of some people throwing some nice, wonderful profanity in there. So, you know, I would find it ironic if this wasn't Ken Hovind's channel that was being displayed on. But eventually the audio gets
And there's
going.
places
There we go.
they call man for their own names. Never the man in I divided.
But as you can hear, it just craps in and out pretty hilariously.
Good at a game, okay, or building a big house, or becoming rich.
And then it gets back into, normal for the most part.
Come on in.
Let's see if there's anything else of note. Yeah, he kind of just turns it into a thing. Eventually someone tells him that, the audio wasn't coming through good. He's basically wasting his time with that one. But if we jump on over to last night's video, Psalms 49 and Dying Words of Atheists again, because he's not going to let something go. He's obviously not going to skip the psalm, which is completely understandable. But it's funny that they also just haven't deleted the old video. One thing I do want to point out before we get into the video proper is that they've got this donate QR code hanging out in the corner all the time, blocking Kent's slides. Now, either they need to flip Kent and his slides around, or they need to get rid of that, or move it over here if that's even possible, because sometimes software is designed by idiots and you're forced to just plop these kinds of things wherever. Been around a while. I've seen a lot of shittily designed software. Most of it in the corporate sector, oddly enough. But right, let's get into this where the audio is at least, audible.
Adventureland, how's the audio tonight? Remember last time it got messed up? You hear it okay there, guys? Good. It is December 17th. We're going to redo what we did last night. Sorry about that. Psalm 49.
It's going to throw my whole schedule out of order.
But first, we got a lot going on this evening with our Christmas activities, so we're going to start a few minutes early and have David Eckert come on and tell us about his ministry. David, where are you from and what's going on? Bring him in there. There he is.
Hi, Kent. How are you?
I'm overworked and underpaid, way behind. I never complain, though.
Always says that same garbage joke. Kent, by bringing it up constantly like that, even as a sarcastic joke, the implication is that you actually are complaining about it, which is what the joke, how it works. But saying it constantly stops making it a joke and just starts making it you complaining. Get new material, dude.
That's awesome. Let me tell you, your ministry...
That's awesome. I didn't pay attention to a damn thing you said. I just want to advertise my load of bullshit. Hovind adjacent.
When I first became a Christian back in, 1989, in the early 90s, and I had gone to college and learned archaeology and anthropology. I took the classes for fun, but I believed in that. And when I was a brand new Christian, probably 91 or 92, my dad brought me a set of Ken Hovind tapes. And let me tell you, Kent, you opened my eyes to.
Man, wish I'd go back in time. I got some lakefront property in some place that, damn it, I ruined the joke. I ruined the joke completely. Some oceanfront property in some place that is not ocean adjacent that I wish to sell you. There. There's the joke. It's not funny anymore. But I had to go through with it. I had to follow through. Once I commit to this shit, I can't stop. That's a problem with doing this. I can't just edit it in post. I mean, I could, but that wouldn't be true to the spirit of the videos. Moving on.
To the lies in the textbooks. That one, and looking at those textbooks that I used to study.
My point is, this dude is incredibly gullible of looking at Kent's stuff and hearing the way he talked about stuff after having already studied these things seriously had an impact. My opinion is that, of course, the dude is outright lying.
I was blown away, but the amount of deception that.
Oh, so now this guy is Kent? This is what I was talking about with them doing something different. They seem to be using a central system to capture all the camera feeds and any kind of like interactions, and then they're feeding that into Restream by like using OBS or something to capture it all in some weird roundabout way. Like I'm imagining like just, if you think about this in analog ways, patch cables looping back into themselves multiple times over to get this actual effect they've got going on for reasons I don't know, because the implication here is that this is Restream sending out the signal, everything's being aggregated and sent to Restream from this aggregated source, so that's why it still says Dr. Ken Hovind here, because it's basically an OBS source being broadcast, as opposed to an actual Restream or whatever participant. And it's a jank way to do things. I don't know who came up with that, but it's not good, guys. It's not good at all.
It's in the school textbooks, what you see in the museums and stuff. It's just, I want to tell you, you've inspired me a great deal in your whole ministry and everything you've done and gone through.
Yeah, and Kent inspired me to take a stand against absolute bullshit. So, you're inspiring people to do some things, Kent. Maybe just not things you'd like, but whatever. And this dude is so full of shit. He is.
Amen.
So, my ministry, I got to tell you, so about 8.
It's so fucking weird. Everyone who gives a flying fuck about, their particular fairy tale, variation of it, and wants to tell about other people, they start a ministry, they always have, everyone's got a fucking ministry. Some clown on the street's a whole fucking ministry. Are you really? Or are you just some guy saying stuff? I mean, I get there's probably some verse in your book that says to do this, that, the other, and to start this, that, the other, and so that's the criteria you go on to define it, but no, doesn't seem like a ministry to me. Just seems like some rando on the street. Not necessarily this guy, but, we're going to hear whatever he has to say, though.
8 months ago, I had a trip.
And Kent has to show off his fucking DVDs because that's all he cares about is selling product. Cares more about shilling for the shit he makes than he does about just focusing on the stories from Magic Book that he loves so much.
Triple bypass open heart surgery and a new valve put in.
Mm-hmm.
And
yep, by doctors who used actual science, some of that evolutionary science, to keep you alive. But you're just going to reject all that while simultaneously at this second taking advantage of the benefits it brought. It's pretty fucked up, bro.
And upon coming out of the hospital, getting home, and prior to that, I was working on a screenplay for a movie.
Buy lies in the textbook, or you can just watch it here on YouTube. And if you're halfway competent with anything, you could just fucking download it. So you could stick it on a flash drive, and there you go. Take it to your class and teach whatever the fuck you want. Not that you couldn't already do that anyway with YouTube, but I mean, if you wanted to avoid the chance of, after the video ends, it auto-playing Ra tearing this bullshit apart because Ra happened to do a multi-part series, dissecting the entire fucking thing. I don't want you to see that. Just, buy the DVD. I need to make money. I'm Kent. I don't know how to monetize things. I think it's still 1994, Hovind.
Movie, and the Lord really stopped me dead in my tracks. And he said, "When are you going to quit working?" And it wasn't an audible voice. It was just
Yeah, because a deity talking to you in your head still doesn't sound fucking crazy.
a gnawing away at my spirit that there's a lot of people that are going to get deceived. And
Yep, and you want to add to that number with your bullshit.
I had to do something, and so I wrote this book, the coming Christian and Jewish Holocaust.
Yes, the screen mirrored, so everything's backwards, and of course you got to put a, you know, the mushroom cloud on there. Also, I find it quite offensive that you decided to group Christians in with Jews in a Holocaust reference, given what the Holocaust explicitly was and why it has that name, since that is a Jewish term for, if memory serves, something akin to a special burnt offering or something. Um, and it became a symbolic way of referring to the event. I may have slight nuance off on that. I'm not exactly a scholar. But to throw Christians in there as well, a group that specifically rejects some of the core tenets of Judaism beyond some elements of tradition and the like, pretty horrible. But of course, you don't want to be seen as anti-Semitic, because for a lot of y'all, the mythology includes Jews getting a pass on things, which is fine, except that the reason seems to just be a matter of, public opinion rather than any actual consideration for the theology, which is the only thing you're focused on, not the cultural aspect, mind you, not the ethnic group, but just the religious group. So, yeah. Yeah, I didn't, let's
And
get back to that book.
I had to do Jewish Holocaust.
Yeah, not a fan at all, dude. Not a fan. But, you're free to publish whatever the hell you want to. I don't know, maybe I should procure a copy of that and look it over. That would involve me putting forth some effort on this shit, though, and, I ain't ready to do that. I got more important things to do, like update Linux distros that I haven't touched in, years. Should probably get around to that, actually. Anyway.
And I know that after your foray, you wrote a book about the pre-wrath rapture.
Right.
And I think it was What in the World is Happening, or fill me in on the name of that.
What on earth is about to happen, Hovind? For heaven's sake. Such a stupid-ass title.
Your book?
Yeah. What
what on earth is about to happen would be fine, but adding in the for heaven's sake is just so stupid.
on earth is about to happen?
What on earth is about to happen? And that's a great book. And that whole scenario on what is about to happen is what I put.
Oh, now they got everything split up properly. Okay. See, I can't even guess what the hell their streaming setup is anymore. Like, what broke, what changed, what they add in. Maybe it's just a particular plugin causing problems. I don't know. Such a weird workflow, though, to ensure that Kent can actually hear shit, which I'm glad they finally make him put on fucking headphones. But to get his shit to display on the screen that we're seeing of him, and on his screen, and get everything else captured together. But notice Kent doesn't give a flying fuck about this gentleman. Probably doesn't even see him on the screen. He probably just sees his stupid PowerPoint. No. Instead, all he cares about is a chance to promote his stuff as this guy sits there and placates him, I guess would be the word. I don't know.
Put into this novel. So this is a...
I would have said another phrase, but I've said it too often recently, so I want to tone that down.
The Final Hour, Chronicles of the Apocalypse. It starts with the unveiling.
Does it start with the epic 80s power metal or power bow? It's power. No, it's epic metal. I don't even know what the genre is. It's a metal track, though. We'll just call it that. Good, nice rock metal track of Final Countdown by Europe. Seriously, now I'm more curious on how people currently classify that song than I am any of this shit. The things I do for my viewers.
if you will, of the Antichrist.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't believe what a lot of teachers believe, that it's going to be a revived Roman Empire. There is way too much scriptural evidence and biblical evidence that
Aren't those the same thing? What the fuck, dude?
the Antichrist will come from the Middle East,
Yeah.
namely Turkey or Russia. I mean, not Russia. I'm sorry, Turkey or Syria, and we see the destruction of Syria. That's something, actually, when I wrote this book, um, what happens in here is Iran and Damascus go down in flames,
Mm-hmm.
literally.
All of Iran and the city of Damascus. Okay.
But what happens is a world leader rises to power, and there are groups of people in America that get, deceived, and the story is written from the perspective of a pastor.
Yeah, and you know what happened in the story, the overarching story of Guild Wars? Is that a couple of hundred years before the searing of Ascalon, Char troops were invading uh, the kingdom of Or. And Vizier Kilvron used magic from a sacred scroll to stop the Char invasion, but it also doomed Or to the oceans, destroying the empire, causing it to sink, only for it a few hundred years later to rise up when the elder dragon Zythan woke. That's a pretty kick-ass story. It's a pretty cool place. In fact, I wish the Guild Wars team would bring would go to Or again. There's got to be more to do there because it's a really untouched area of the world compared to a lot of elements of the other of Guild Wars 1 and a lot of things in Guild Wars 2 combined with the novels and such. But, that's a digression. Point is, I like my fiction to be cool, not bullshit like this.
Who is pastoring a church, who is a pre-tribulation believer,
Yeah.
and the dialogue he has with people in his church who don't believe that, and other pastors who either believe or don't believe, and that whole idea of the pre-tribulation rapture. Paul makes it very clear in 2 Thessalonians chapter 2. He said, concerning the coming of our Lord Jesus Christ and our gathering together to him.
Who was supposed to come back before all of his disciples were dead, so he's nearly 2,000 years late on that.
And then he warns us about a deception. He says, don't be deceived for what will happen first is the man of sin will be revealed, the son of perdition,
Donald Trump!
and there will be a great falling away. And there's many that teach that the falling away is the rapture, and that's such a horrible interpretation of what apostasy means. It's apostasy. There are people that are falling away, and the Left Behind series, a book,
And now he brings up Left Behind.
has sold 60 between their Left Behind books, their trilogy, the children's study books. I mean, it's gone out there, but 60 million copies of that in one form or another have gone out across the world. And I know a lot of people have come to Christ through.
Yeah, and Guild Wars 2 sold over 2 million copies in its first week. I was trying to find the total number, but I can't. I mean, it's honestly probably not going to be that high. August 2021, 16 million accounts had been created. So there, I don't know. I just like an excuse to bring up Guild Wars. Because I like thinking about things that make me happy. And nothing in your holy book makes me happy. Except the fact that it inspires clowns like Hovind to say the shit they do.
Those books, but what is it?
Or more correctly, They say that crap, and then I get to react to it, or I get to watch others react to it, or people debate this clown, and at this stage, not at all take him seriously because he doesn't deserve to be taken seriously.
That they have faith in, because if their faith is based on a pre-tribulation rapture, and the pre-tribulation rapture doesn't happen as predicted, then where's their faith going to be? So that's
they give it up.
I'd also like to point out that they decry when you call Christianity a death cult, yet this is one of the most major focuses of the entire theology. While it's very downplayed in most circles, it's literally what the book is all leading up to and what the entire point winds up being. Is this weird magic apocalypse that just happens. But it's not a death cult. It's obsessed with what happens after you die, but it's not a death cult.
Yeah. So that's my biggest concern. I have family members, good friends, and the scenario that is laid out in the novel is one where a fictional character based on myself is in dialogue.
Of course, because you can't have a story written without a character being a self-insert. I'm guilty of it too. It's a pretty common trope and a side effect of the way we think about the world, and that we only can understand and experience the world truly from our own point of view. Anyone else we can only have snapshots of. So it's actually a little difficult to create a character that isn't us by virtue of we don't totally know how others truly think. Or something to that effect.
Dialogue with his pastor, and they're in Bible study, and they're going back and forth, and we have to be able to open the door for dialogue and not feel blocked off. You know, there's a lot of pre-wrath teachers that when they go teach at a pre-tribulation church, they're either disinvited or told in no uncertain circumstances that you can't take our pulpit and talk about anything negative about the pre-tribulation rapture. And that's happening. It's happening all the time. You get taken off of radio networks, and Marv Rosenthal walked away from a huge ministry.
Wow. Taken off radio networks. It's almost as if private organizations have rights to choose what they do and don't do, which, if memory serves, was something y'all were championing back when those people wouldn't make that cake that time. But then it becomes a problem when the preacher doesn't say what they want. The preacher happens to agree with you, and when they're kicked off, you see it as persecution. Okay. I just want you guys to remind me again, who sends whom to hell? Who kicks whom off of YouTube or TikTok? Because the answers aren't the same that I think Kent would say, or you would say. Kent would of course say, you guys would say you send yourself to hell, even though you don't. That's not actually how any of that works. But simultaneously wouldn't say that due to your actions, you get yourself banned from TikTok or from YouTube. No, suddenly it's YouTube doing it. Doesn't go both ways.
Because of his stance. So I'm just out there, and think about this at Christmas. There is a lot of people that could read this book, and there's a big invitation at the end.
You know what I'm thinking about right now? The fact that I need to go buy another fucking lighter, because this one's dead. Butane's done run out. And I just want to fire up this stick of incense just because I enjoy it. And I can't now, because I'm stuck doing this. Can't go get another lighter. That's all I use it for too. Oh well, let's keep going.
To both the final hour and the coming Christian and Jewish Holocaust.
All right.
There's an invitation for people to come and receive Christ, based not on that we're going to escape what's going to happen, but based on the fact that we're called to endure.
Amen. All right, brother. some folks may not be familiar with the term tribulation, wrath, etc. In the book of Daniel, back in the Bible, and in the book of Matthew, Mark, and Luke, it talks about a time.
Back in the Bible? No, Kent. We thought it was, a freaking Tuesday New York Times columnist you were referring to. We had no idea it was from the Bible. Nope, not one at all. As you were, moron. Kent.
And other places, talks about a time of tribulation coming on the world. From the word tribulum, the Romans had a whip with 3 prongs on the end, with 3 leather straps with little hooks in it. They would whip people with that. That would be a tribulum. So the word tribulation is based on that. There's a time coming called the time.
Okay. She didn't explain the core, conversion over and deciding to turn this into something. It's not like how Triumph was originally a 3-stage parade party thing with slave executions and the like, pretty fucking horrible, and that eventually became the word we'd continue to use for simply a great victory of some kind. You didn't go through the etymology quite the way I'd expect you to have, but whatever.
Of tribulation. And the Christians have always taught we get taken out of here at the rapture after the tribulation. Until 1830, when a 15-year-old girl named Margaret MacDonald in Scotland had a dream about the pre-tribulation rapture.
Also, looking up on the good old Googles, tribulation origin, Middle English via Old French, from ecclesiastical Latin, tribulatio, and Latin tribulare, press oppress, from tribulum, threshing board, constructed of sharp points, based on terror. Does that say rub? Okay, yeah. Probably butchered the pronunciation in there, but doesn't really seem to have anything to do with the whip. Seems to have something to do with other things, so come on, Kent.
Sure. And that dream spread like crazy and is still being taught today. The Left Behind series teaches that. It's just simply not true. So my book, I wrote on it in my chart at all.
So what you're saying is different Christians who believe this shit as deeply as you do are still fucking wrong, and you're going to argue with them about the minutia of your fairy tale. That is so fucking rich.
This stuff's available on our website, the book, the video series, What on Earth is About to Happen. You can just
this whole thing is just a basic infomercial for Ken Hovind products. Buy 2 now, get charged for a 3rd one free. That's right, I just knocked the price up by a 3rd. What are you gonna do about it? Nothing. It's a donation. I need to coup back all the money Randall stole from me. Hovind's broke. Gotta pay for my art. Hovind, buy my shitty books. Buy my DVDs. It's all on YouTube. Buy it anyway. Hovind.
Type in WOE, W-O-E, What on Earth is About to Happen, the video series of 21 hours. Anyway, you can get all that to get my stand on. I believed it for 4.
Also, note that he didn't actually explain explicitly what tribulation means. A cause of great trouble or suffering. A state of great trouble or suffering. Which, honestly, isn't that hard to understand, given the fact that the tribule sounds very close to trouble, and one can put 2 and 2 together. And in every piece of rap music and the like I've listened to that happens to have featured that word, the context was made incredibly clear. It's not that uncommon of a word, Kent. Look at him looking all smug right there. Like, yeah, I'm going to sell some DVDs, Howard.
40 years. The pre-trib rapture is not true. There's a time of wrath coming where God pours out his wrath on the world. We're not.
Oh, I thought he wasn't going to do that anymore. Also, how is this God that's supposed to be infinitely loving, how do they have wrath? How does that work? Can you please explain that? Oh, right, you would have an apologetic for it. And you'd probably want me to call into your stupid open mic so that you can ramble on for an hour and all your people in the chat can throw shade and do the petty shit they do because there's no hate like Christian love. Don't even care. It's a rhetorical question anyway, so... It's arguing over fucking superstition.
We're not here for that. We're here for the tribulation. That's what the world does to us. It's already happening in countries all over the world. But we're not here when God...
Is it, Kent? Is it?
God kicks them over to Sinai Peninsula, okay? Anyway, so thank you, brother. How did they get a hold of you and get a hold of your book?
He's so fucking obsessed with what's going on in Israel right now. Israel and Palestine, I should say. Probably just pleasures himself every night thinking about it. They're gonna bury the West Bank. Hovind, Gaza Strip's gonna be flat land. Yeah. Put up my theme park, Dinosaur Adventureland 2, Jerusalem edition. Hovind.
I'm on Amazon. All my books, just look up David E. Williamson.
Yeah, won't be doing that, thanks.
They're all on Amazon. And then my YouTube channel is Pillar of Fire Ministries. And I have links from videos that I've done, theatrical type videos on the rapture, creationism. And they don't, my videos on creationism don't hold a candle to yours. I've done one. And I quote you several.
I've got a kiss Ken Hovind asked. Big Daddy Kent can't think that I think I'm better than him, even though I know I am. Hovind bootlicker.
Times on that, but yeah. So bless you, Ken.
All right. Well, thank you, brother. And write
Bro, he didn't sneeze. That was just the normal way he sounds when he talks.
more books, brother. The world needs.
Thank you.
We need the
I'm
truth
doing
being
that.
taught. All right. Thank you so much, brother.
God
All
bless.
Right. Thank you. Thank you. Bye bye. All right, folks. Well, let's begin our Bible study in Psalms chapter 49. The one we did last night had.
Alright, we are 9.5 minutes in. Let's see how long it takes before it just goes off into some rant about atheists or evolution or some kind of off-the-rails bullshit that just has no value.
Audio problems. Can you hear me okay? I guess I don't need my headphones for this, do I? I'm talking just myself. There we go.
That's the truth. No one in your audience is paying attention if there's even anybody there.
Psalm 49, Atheists' Last Words. Get the slides up there, guys.
Yes, I'm sure that's what the psalm is about. I'm sure it's not about anything else. That's what it's actually titled in the 1611 edition of Favorite Book of Near Eastern Bullshit.
My slides are not showing. Okay, there we go. Got new guys learning the system here.
Are they, Kent? Are they?
Atheists' Last Words. Be sure to subscribe.
That ancient-ass subscribe button. And amazing, the 80 by 20 pixel quality. I've seen higher resolution from a goddamned Atari 2600, Kent.
And leave a comment and share our videos with other people.
Oh yeah, I'm going to share your videos, just not in the way you want me to.
Okay? Some people will only get the message if somebody shares it with them like that. Here we are, December the 17th, Psalm 49, again, because last night's audio messed up. We are having our 12 days of Christmas, which is why we started early with David, and we're going to have a movie night in a few minutes when we get done here.
Ooh, what movie are you going to watch? Probably something lame and outdated as fuck.
Come join us. If you don't have any family, we'll be your family for Christmas. Come
I'd rather die.
on down. Stay too long, we'll put you to work.
Yeah, that's part of why I'd rather die. Fucking slave labor over there at DAL.
We have an eclectic crew here at Dinosaur Adventureland to keep this place running and improving. We provide housing, utilities, and food for everybody. About half of them are retired or have some other income, and we pay them nothing.
Yeah, you're real proud of that. Because you're not going to pay employees, because then you'd have to pay taxes for those employees. And that would involve filing forms with the government. And we all know what your track record is about that, don't we? Also, you know, I mentioned that QR code just floating in the corner earlier. See how it's blocking text here? Kind of stupid.
The other half get a small amount of money. All could make a lot more money out there in the secular world, but these folks have, like the house of Stephanus in the Bible, addicted themselves to the ministry.
And that's pretty stupid.
It's amazing watching the crew around here.
Yeah, I'm sure it's amazing because you'll probably beat them if they don't work their asses off.
So we started a fun
Threatening people with their fucking housing and stuff. People who've got nothing else to their name, nowhere else to go. It's fucking horrible. But that's just a normal day for you.
fund. Should be, I forgot to put the D in there. Anyone can contribute so that we will.
I noticed that yesterday. It does say, we have started a fund. Anyone? It's like, of course, you're such an expert typist that you'd miss the D, Kent. I don't think Kent missed the D in prison, but I don't know anything. And no, I'm not saying I'm the perfect typist. Far from it. I flub all the time. But I don't claim to be as perfect as I may or may not be. No, I don't claim to be perfect like Kent claims to be perfect in all practicality. How he acts like he's so skilled and so good at stuff. He can't be humble. He can't be modest about anything. He's got to be him.
Use the Christmas bonus to be divided among them. We'd like to be able to give them some kind of Christmas bonus. If you want help with that, call Sandra, 855-BIG-DINO, extension 1, or email her, the secretary at drdino.com.
I'd like to, donate negative money. So motherfucking pay me.
Now, after much prayer and counsel and tribulation and weeping and gnashing of teeth, we've decided to sell the dinosaur van.
Yes, we get it. You're going to sell your pedo van. Also, it looks like some sort of fucked up ass hearse. Fucking dinosaurs on the side. What the fuck?
It mostly just sits here. We use it to go to Chinese food to eat once every blue moon.
Yes, driving the 20 plus miles to Bruton to go fucking eat, and then you're going to complain about people taking showers. Come on, Kent.
I love that van. I've driven it a lot, okay? It's a 2012 GMC 2500.
Yeah, and drove it a lot, except for the time he was in prison. He didn't drive it then.
9-passenger conversion van. New motor, new transmission just 30,000 miles ago. Excellent shape, leather upholstery, all the electric, gizmos and gadgets in there. TV, dual air. No, never been in an accident. The singing group that was here a few months ago, their Yukon broke down.
You say this stuff like people haven't heard it already. If this is someone's first time watching your stuff, they're not going to care about all this nitty-gritty. If it's not their first time watching your stuff, then they would have seen this when you said it the first time. You don't need to go over these bullet point notes again and again and again. You run a cult compound. It isn't a community center. Fuck, man.
Transmission went out. So they took it to Mobile to a transmission shop because it was under warranty. They said, how are we going to get back to California? I said, well, guys, you can borrow my van. We hardly ever use it here. It just sits and gathers dust. So they drove the van to California, and that's where it is. There's a guy there ready to drive it back. All I got to do is make a phone call. He can drive it back. But if somebody in California wants to buy our van, buy it right there. Save a trip. Hang on. Oh, there. Okay. I have to edit that out.
That was amusing. At least you covered your damn mouth for that one.
So it's in California now. Has leather seats and the lumbar power vibrator and all that kind of stuff. It came that way. Okay, somebody bought it for us years and years ago.
Yep. Lumbar power vibrator. Real mature there, Kent. Real mature.
2012 GMC custom vans like this typically sell for between $14,900 and $34,900, depending on the trim model. Let's see, here's a GMC cargo van. That's just a plain old cargo van for $20,000, okay? Let's see. Prices for a used van like this typically go from $14,900 to $34,900 with an average selling price of $22,600. The vehicle's mileage and condition can vary, some being previously used for personal or commercial. It's just been used as a church van around here.
Right, a church van. Also, Kent, could you provide the mean price? Can you provide prices adjusted for inflation? If ever so slight, still present? Can you do that for us? I need these statistics granular before I make my purchasing decision on your shitty-ass van. With the horrible art on the side. No, you can't do that? But I thought you were a math whiz. This is important information, Kent. I need that information. Give me that information. I'm not asking. I'm telling you to give me that info. All right, there. I had a little fun with that.
Vans like this go for $14,000 to $34,000. We're asking $19,500, and we will pay you $50 a month for the next 12 months if you leave the wrap on it. You can get the wrap off with a heat gun. Some guys from Washington came down and said, "Brother Hovind, we love your ministry. Can we wrap your van?" I said, yeah.
So that's $600 for a period of a year if you leave that on after buying the truck for 19.5. Hmm. You could just leave it in the garage for a year. You could also just take a bunch of photos and lie. Who's gonna check? How are they gonna prove it?
There's a sticker on there. Go.
Especially in California, like SoCal, where it pretty much looks the same year round. Fucking Silicon Valley area. Just take a different photo every couple of days. Find someone when the weather's good, find when it's not so good, just keep on when they want to check. There you go.
Just get a heat gun, take it off if you don't like it. But if you leave it on there, we'll pay you for advertising for it. Right now it sits, how much traffic do we get on Pearl Lane? Almost zero, okay? So I'd like.
But Kent, weren't you complaining about the dust? Oh, right. They had them. Did they have them go around? I can't even remember from the great dust fiasco. Old man yells at dust cloud. But, yeah. Sounds like a personal problem.
Like it to be somebody driving it around in the city. People are going to stop you and say, hey, where's Dinosaur Adventureland? Oh, you got to go. You can get a bunch of our flyers and pass them out. Each one's actually a gospel track. I don't have any here handy, but we'll give you those if you want to buy the van. Now, Michael Jackson's car. So
What? Now we're bringing up MJ. Why are we bringing up MJ? This motherfucker is not gonna seriously compare himself to Michael Jackson. He is not about to do that. Please tell me he's not going to do that. And I hear you all screaming at your screens that he is. I can't hear you because that's happening in the future. And right now I'm not there yet. I will be. But I don't like where this is going. I don't like where this is going at all. Alright. Let's let Dr. Moron talk.
sold for, let's see, $100,000 is listed on eBay. The Moonwalker, whatever that is. The Mercedes-Benz, one of his longest owned cars, 1985 Mercedes-Benz, sold at auction for $100,000. Maybe someday the Dino van will be worth millions since.
No, Kent. No. He fucking did it. No, you dumbass. Nothing about you will be worth anything when you're gone. Michael Jackson, albeit a very eccentric fellow, entertained the world. Created incredible music. He's a very talented lyricist. Very, very human performer. If you listen to raw acapellas of Michael Jackson's work, like the studio masters that are out there, and listen to them, you hear so much just humanity coming from his delivery. Little flubs here and there that make it into the proper performance, and you don't hear it in the performance because it works so well, and because you've locked in to, no pun intended, the human nature of the songs. Even as a joke, Kent, for me as a fan of Michael Jackson's work, as someone who respects great artists, even with flaws, understanding that people are people, that's just... You're an asshole, Kent. That's what it boils down to.
I drove it, and I'm the most hated man on the internet. What do you think, JJ?
Oh no, you're not the most hated man on the internet. I don't hate you per se. I hate everything you stand for, and thus I would use the phrase, I hate you and everything you stand for, but I don't really hate you. I just think you're a piece of garbage. Literal human garbage. I don't wish ill on you. But when the time comes, the world will be a better place without you.
Everybody going to want that. Anyway, so call me, 855 Big Dino extension 3, and I'll talk to you about the van. I can tell you where it's at and all that. Go see it. We'd like.
And yes, I'm aware with the whole comparing himself to MJ thing, he was being funny in the end, or trying to be. It still doesn't make it any less stupid to say amongst the thousands upon thousands of stupid things he says every single day. Things he will say every single day. I don't know what better way to phrase that is, but you know what I mean.
Somebody to drive it around and advertise for us and get paid. And we might go more than 12 months if it works out good, if people start coming. Okay, I want to go to slide number 2152, and let's get real quick here.
You know, Kent, you could just come up with different presentations for each key point and one master presentation for the Bible. That might work a little better, but no, you got to have everything into one memory-hogging PowerPoint. My computer's got 64 of them gigabytes, whatever that is, and my PowerPoint presentation still causes it to crash. Hovind.
Psalm 49. Hear this, all ye people. Pay attention. The psalmist says, give ear, all ye inhabitants of the world, both low and high, rich and poor, together. My mouth shall speak of wisdom, and the meditation of my heart shall be of understanding. He said, I got something important to tell you. Probably one of the most important lessons in life.
Uh-huh. Is it how to properly pronounce words like height and drowning? Because you missed that lesson.
I will incline mine ear to a parable. I will open my dark sayings upon the harp. Wherefore should I fear in the days of evil, when the iniquity of my heels shall compass me about? I've never understood what that means. Iniquity of my heels. Anyway, they that trust...
Bible expert doesn't understand what Psalms 49:5 says. Okay.
Trust in their wealth, and boast themselves in the multitude of their riches.
Like Kent Hovind pre-arrest in 2007?
A lot of people do that. They trust their wealth to protect them from everything.
Yeah, like you.
They don't need God. They got money. Look at that smug look on his face.
Oh, come on. Within another year, you're going to be sucking off Elon Musk as much as you do Donald Trump. You know they're buddies. You're going to insult him? He's part of what got your douchebag reelected. So come the fuck on, Kent. Duplicitous dumbass. I mean, Kent's slow on news cycles. I guess he hasn't gotten the memo that, Musk is all up. And all wealthy people are up Trump's. You're up Trump's ass all the time. He's fucking wealthy. Why not give him some shit? Oh, you won't do that to God Emperor Trump, but you'll sure as hell do that to another dumb rich asshole.
I got money. Yeah, got money. Don't
Look, stock images of somebody holding up money. Money!
need God. Yeah. None of them can by any means redeem his brother, nor give to God a ransom for him.
Talking about people need money, don't need God. Well, yeah, money actually is tangible, and it can actually be used for things. I haven't seen your deity do jack diddly fucking shit ever.
For the redemption of their soul is precious, and it ceaseth forever, that he should still live forever and not see corruption. Meaning of Psalm 49. It's a wisdom psalm that warns against the dangers of trusting in wealth and material possessions. The psalm,
which is why every single preacher you've ever seen runs some kind of fucking megachurch and is fucking loaded. Because rejecting money is in the Bible, and they really follow the Bible.
Almost emphasizes the fleeting nature of earthly riches and the importance of seeking true wisdom and understanding.
But, Christianity isn't a death cult. Everything in this life doesn't matter. It's all the next life that matters. The one after you fucking die.
The transient nature of wealth. It comes, it goes. How many of you have ever had times in your life where you had a lot of money and then you've had times where you're broke? You been there before?
Wow, Kent. Welcome to America. Fucking idiot.
Up, down, yeah. They cannot redeem one's soul to provide true security. The folly of trusting in riches. He argues those who trust in their wealth and boast of their riches are foolish. The importance of wisdom and understanding instead of trusting wealth, better trust wisdom and understanding. The psalm concludes with the assurance that God will redeem the soul of the righteous, providing a sense of hope and comfort in the face of death and certainty.
Yeah, I think the book admits there that it's full of shit, as it doesn't say, the path concludes with the assurance that God will redeem, providing a sense of hope and comfort. It's like, oh yeah, I guarantee you're going to feel better if you believe this bullshit. See, don't you feel better already? Once you die, everything's cool. I don't have any proof of it, but the book says so, and the book's right, so, It's like, come on. This is stupid.
It's a warning against idolatry, and worshiping money can be idolatry.
People don't worship money, they just enjoy having a good time. People can be very hedonistic. It's in our nature. We tend to prefer pleasure over pain, and if given the opportunity, a lot of us will indulge or possibly overindulge, especially if we haven't had the opportunity to build up a sense of moderation for such. If I do imbibe alcohol, I tend to go a little overboard. Makes for a fun party animal, but I also hate spending the next day feeling like I died. When your friend tells me when he left your house that he had to check in on you and finds you passed out in the floor of your bathroom, and he just has to go and make sure you're still breathing before he leaves, and then his wife picks him on up and takes him home, he just had to make sure you're still okay. Yeah, you had a fun night, but at what cost? That wasn't because of money. That was because we wanted to have fun. Was it right? Sure. Didn't harm anybody. We had fun. It's like the thing with your whole belief system is that people are supposed to suffer constantly. Like, that's what existence is supposed to be. You act like it's not, and that believing Magic Sky Daddy and Sky Daddy 2 Rape Son Boogaloo is going to make everything better, but it really doesn't. People are just lying to themselves, and you watch them get this glassed over look in their eyes as they believe this stuff more and more. And it's like, how much can you lie to yourself about things being fine before the fire finally burns your ass? And no, that isn't some hell metaphor. I'm referencing the little dog meme where the room's on fire and it's like, this is fine. Everything's fine. Eventually it stops being fine. Eventually the crushing weight of the world hits you, and you're going to have the human feelings that you're supposed to, and not throw it all off as just Magic Sky Daddy saying that, oh, it's protecting me. It's like, obviously they're not. Never seen your God heal a fucking amputee's injury. Totally within their power. But no, they're just supposed to suffer forever. Childhood cancer exists at all. But keep on telling me they're in a better place and that God works in mysterious ways. Fucker.
Could also be seen as a war. Let's see. Those who trust in their wealth and boast in their riches are making an idol of their possessions. Thomas Hobbes, a political philosopher, said, I say again, if I had the whole world at my disposal, I would give it to live one day.
Yeah, because people fucking hate dying. We're kind of programmed to not enjoy it. Why? Probably because it's one, may or may not be painful depending on what happens, and two, that cessation of existing is kind of scary when you think about it. That's why people came up with these magic stories that you get an infinite second life after the first. But of course you can't clock out when you want to. It's got to be some natural time or just however the universe sees fit. They always got that stipulation in so that you're still around to donate to the church, because dead people can't tithe to the church. I guess they could give everything they have, but of course when you do everything, especially through political influence, to ensure that the populace is poor as fuck, they probably don't have much to be donating to begin with, then they already do already. Because I've seen people give everything they've got to the church thinking it's going to help, and their lives just get worse and worse. And you can't fucking talk them out of it because religion's so ingrained into them that they can't wrap their head around the world any other way of, them eating, them having a place to stay, them having a modicum of normal entertainment in their lives to perk them up a hair. They feel like they should be punished for even thinking about doing such and not giving their money to the church. The money that you say so much people don't need.
Atheist, okay? These are their last words.
And there we go. 1626 in, he's just turned it on into some shit about atheism because money.
Thomas Paine, leading atheist writer in the American colonies back, when he started their country here, Stay with me, for God's sake. I cannot bear to be left alone. Oh Lord, help me. Oh God, what have I done to suffer so much? What will become of me hereafter? I would give worlds if I had them, that the Age of Reason had never been published. That's his deathbed speech. Age of Reason, the book by him. He said, I do not believe in the creed of the Jews or the Roman Church, that'd be the Catholics, or the Greek Church, or the Turkish Church, or the Protestants.
Yeah, the Thomas Paine quote appears to be bullshit, because my quick Google foo says that Thomas Paine's last words are said to have been, I have no wish to believe on that subject, in reference to Paine's doctor asking him if he wanted to accept Jesus before he died. So, keep on lying, Kent. At most, some of the Founding Fathers were deist, a stance that I could definitely get behind, because they were smart enough to be like, there's no evidence of a God actually interacting with the world, so if it's out there, it's gotta just be hands off. Just watching. Like we're a little snow globe, and it's just watching everything happen.
Nor by any church I know of. My own mind is my own church. He said, I wished I'd never written that, because
No, he didn't.
his book and his philosophy turned many away from God and made many become atheists. Let's see. Thomas Scott said, until this moment, I thought there was neither God nor hell. Now I know and feel that there are both. I'm doomed to perdition by the just judgment of the Almighty. Voltaire, famous atheist in France, I have swallowed nothing.
Hang on, I'm gonna look up these. No, I'm not, because we know Kent's full of bullshit. So why should I go through the effort of, bothering with this shit if he's already been demonstrated to have lied about the first one?
But smoke.
I'll leave that up to you, the viewer. Let me know what each of these people's actual last words were.
I've intoxicated myself with the incense that turned my head. I'm abandoned by God and man. What a sad thing to say on his deathbed. He told his doctor, I'll give you half what I'm worth if you give me 6 months to live. Doctor said, I'm sorry, can't do that. One of the nurses that attended him said, for all the money in Europe, I wouldn't want to see another unbeliever die.
I looked up, for just the hell of it, what Voltaire is reported to have said. Now is not the time for making new enemies. One story says when a priest urged Voltaire to renounce Satan, Voltaire replied, now is not the time to make new enemies. Some say Voltaire's last words were acceptance of last rites from a Catholic priest. Others say he died in agony. So, there's multiple stories on this, meaning we don't know for sure.
All night long, he cried for forgiveness. David Hume, famous atheist, said, I'm in flames. There's a video if you want to watch it, famous atheist's last words before dying, Taylor Alicia. Okay? You need not tell me there's no God, Sir Francis Newport, atheist, said, for I know there is one, and that I...
For David Hume, it says his last words were, this is a summary, that he had no reason to be discontent with his life. Told his biographer he believed it was an unreasonable fancy that there was life after death. I mean, we're noticing a pattern here.
I am in his presence. You need not tell me there is no hell. I feel myself already slipping. Caesar Borgia wrote, while I lived, I provided for everything but death. Now I must die, and am unprepared to die. He said, I say again, if I had the whole world, I would give to live one day. I'm about to take a leap into the dark. Thomas Paine, oh.
Caesar Borgia's last words are said to have been, when I lived, I provided for everything but death. I provided for everything but death. Now I must die, and I'm unprepared to die. Okay, so that quote is correct, but that seems to be, as I look at it, again, because I'm over here researching stuff while Kent just rambles, it seems like he's primarily making a point of preparing for varying events, but just hadn't made the actual preparations for that process. Could be related to any number of facets. His words may have reflected his belief. Now you face God, despise power and stuff, blah blah blah. That's AI stuff. So take it with a grain of salt always. But I'm equally inclined to take that quote as being just like I didn't, like if you didn't prepare for, you live in hurricane, words. I can't English today. The rest of this this video will be presented in Swahili. Don't know Swahili either, so was going to say is, if you lived in Tornado Alley and did not prepare for tornadoes, that's the kind of preparation I'm thinking of when I hear it. It seems like a practical matter. Or just a person not being relatively content with the idea. I don't think it has anything to do with a deity.
To live one day, I'm about to take a leap into the dark. Thomas Paine, oh Lord, help me. Christ, help me. No, don't leave. Stay with me. Send even a child to stay with me, for I am on the edge of hell here alone. If ever the devil had an agent, I've been that one. Some of you atheists I've debated, stop and think now. I know you're real brave and keyboard warriors right now.
Oh God, shut up. And you already went through Thomas Paine, so which were his last words, you idiot? Good God, Kent. Nobody's a fucking keyboard warrior, dude. That's the way teenagers on the internet talked 20 fucking years ago. Not now, dude. Not now. And hell, all actual debates are handled through written publication. Like the real scientific debates that you act like you're having all the time. When your debates are just theatrics. So, would you call them a keyboard warrior? If you were to discuss physics with the people at CERN, would you call them keyboard warriors for their responses to you being in textual form, archived somewhere? The way Aron-Ra would talk to various creationists and such ages ago on Usenet? Was that him being a keyboard warrior, or was that active discussion happening? I mean, come on, Ken. Are your little cultist keyboard warriors when they come to people's videos and leave stupid ass comments? Try to insult somebody? Is your chat a bunch of keyboard warriors when you have your open mic and they want to talk shit about the guests? Or is it only for when someone opposes you?
You're going to regret it on Judgment Day. I'm the best friend you got. I'm trying to warn you.
You ain't shit.
Robert Ingersoll.
Also, I've been trying to ignore this, and I'm working with a slight head cold right now, so I got some sinus issues, but god damn it, Kent. Mute yourself before you clear your fucking nose. I didn't want to say anything because I didn't want to draw attention to it, but motherfucker. You covered your mouth when you coughed. That's at least some level of considerate, but could you fucking mute your mic or find some way to clear out your goddamn nose without everyone having to fucking hear it? It's fucking gross. God damn.
Famous atheist said, if God, oh God, if there be a God, save my soul if I have a soul. Some say it was this way. Oh God, if there be a God, save my soul if I have a soul from hell, if there be a hell. I don't know what he said. Napoleon Bonaparte, the French emperor, who like Adolf Hitler brought death to millions.
Oh, come the fuck on, Kent. What the fuck? Just gotta bring up Hitler.
To satisfy his greedy, power-mad, selfish ambitions for world conquest. He said, I die before my time, and my body will be given back to the earth. Such is the fate of him who hath been called the great Napoleon. What an abyss between my deep misery and the eternal kingdom of Christ. The massacre of the French Huguenots, known as St. Bartholomew's Day Massacre.
I'm not the best with Romance languages, but wouldn't that be in French, Huguenot? Am I just completely wrong there? I'm sure it's not Huguenots.
Occurred in 1572 in Paris, and it spread to other places. It was targeted attack on the French Calvinist Protestants, the Huguenots, by Catholic forces, led by Queen Catherine and King Charles IX. King Charles IX, responsible for the massacre of the French Christians, just because.
No, according to pronunciation on Wikipedia, it actually is Huguenots, so okay, I'll give them that one.
Because they were believers. Massacre of the Huguenots, 1572, a picture somebody drew. A lot of artwork about that. They would take mothers nursing their babies.
But Kent, that's just lines on paper. And actually, that's a goddamn tapestry. It's not something somebody drew. You paint a tapestry, you dumb fuck. And that piece of pencil art from probably the 1800s, 1900s range, it's just lines on paper, Kent.
And kill both of them. King Charles, the King of France, who urged on
King Charles the Ninth.
by his mother, gave the order for the massacre of the French Huguenots, in which 15,000 were slaughtered in Paris and 100,000 in other parts of France for no reason other than they loved Christ.
Yeah, but they didn't love him in the right way. You're forgetting how much Christianity, up until relatively recently, past couple of 100 years range, different groups were really going at each other. In some cases, still relatively recently, like within yours and mine's living time. Granted, there were political issues heavily promoting this, but do I need to mention the Irish Troubles?
Guilty king suffered miserably for years after that event. He finally died, bathed in blood bursting from his veins. To his physicians, he said, "Asleep or awake, I see the mangled forms of the Huguenots passing before me. They drop with blood. They point at their open wounds. Oh, that I had spared at least the little infants at the bosom."
The same kind of wholesale slaughter that God commands in the Bible multiple times. But it's fine then.
"What blood? I know not where I am. How will this end? What shall I do? I am lost forever. I know it. I have done wrong."
Okay, for a second I thought he said the nothing wrong was in there, but okay. Dude's fucking dying. It's the thing with near death experiences and stuff. Brain's going through a process where everything's shutting down. Some weird shit happens, some weird thoughts happen. At a point you pretty much stop being yourself. So it's natural for possibly a person to end up developing regret for something that they may have subliminally had for a while. And if they're still coherent enough to be able to utter out things, they'll be, thinking this through as the event happens. So that's something I see here. I don't even see this as atheist last words to any degree. It's simply a matter of one group going against another. And just, come on, Kent. What's your point here? Also, isn't this a little violent for a church sermon?
"What shall I do? I am lost forever. I know it. I have done wrong." David Strauss represented the German rationalism, which is not rational. After spending a
I gotta bring that in there. I can't just tell the story. I gotta add my commentary constantly. Hovind.
lifetime erasing belief in God from other people, he said, "My philosophy leaves me utterly forlorn. I feel like one caught in the merciless jaws of an automatic machine, not knowing at what time one of the great hammers may crush me." Joseph Stalin killed, according to one source, almost 62 million people.
Yes, because you're gonna love this. Part of it, Lysenkoism, was due to rejection of evolutionary principles. They applied communist principles to fucking vegetation, thus causing mass starvation. That's not to ignore ethnic purges and the like that Stalin did, as well as having an extremely brutal prison system, for lack of a better term. That makes him an asshole. It's irrelevant to his theological opinions, because there have been theological groups which have done similar. Not to that grand a scale, because it hasn't been massive-ass countries. It's been much more small, much more modest ones. But similar shit can still happen.
Way more than the Jewish Holocaust.
And no, I'm not saying that every single socialist leader in history has it all been good, because someone's going to accuse me of saying that. Most of them have been absolute shit. Part of that reason? The vast majority, the infamous ones, were all directly inspired by, directly set up by, or otherwise somehow have a direct connection to Joseph Stalin. They emulated his savagery. And no, I'm definitely not defending Stalin. Fuck Joseph Stalin. Horrible person. Fuck his entire cadre. The only good thing Joseph Stalin ever did was eventually realize, oh, the Germans are attacking us, I guess we gotta fight back. And even then, it was just by sheer brute force, given the sheer number of bodies he could throw at Germany. So I'm not defending them. But you're continuing to conflate explicitly these actions to atheist principles or something you see as even worse, when that's not really it. At best, that would, any theology they could have had might have acted as a bit of a check and balance for them to reconsider, but no, it just didn't. Rejection of religion didn't hinder them from doing it. Didn't necessarily promote it either. They were gonna do what they wanted to do, like everyone fucking does. And if I may go off on a side tangent, one of the things that's terrifying is when other, like, highly religious people say that without God, I just go around doing whatever all the time, implying that you want to go kill, pillage, murder, rape, whatever. Got to quote Aaron Ra, where it's like, without God, I do exactly the amount of raping, killing, and pillaging I want to do, which is none, because I don't want to do those things because they harm other people. And I don't wish to bring active harm to anyone else. You guys, a lot of you, seem to think those are the default feelings and say that you would do those things, which is fucking terrifying. But what do I know? I'm not the one with a prison record.
Estimate provided in the book Stalin's Genocides. Estimate includes deaths from various sources, executions, forced labor, deportation, famine, massacres. The exact number of people killed by Stalin is difficult to determine due to the lack of reliable records, but you can get the book if you want, Stalin's Genocides. In Newsweek interview with Svetlana Stalin, his daughter, she told of her father's death. She said, "My father died a difficult and terrible death. God grants an easy death only to the just." At what seemed the very last moment, he suddenly opened his eyes, cast a glance over everyone in the room. There was a terrible glance, insane or perhaps angry. His left hand was raised as though he were pointing to something above and bringing down a curse on us all. The gesture was full of menace. The next moment, he was dead. Anton LaVey, the author of the Satanic Bible, okay? He was a high...
Yeah, I would love to see somebody tune into this stream being like, who's this Dr. Ken Hovind? He seems like, okay, he's got, this dino theme park. Okay, let's check out his channel. Anton LaVey, author of the Satanic Bible. Nope, little Jimmy, we're not watching this guy.
High priest of the religion dedicated to the worship of Satan. Him and Aaron Ra would get along good.
Aaron Ra does not worship Satan, you dumb fucks. The Satanic Temple is a completely distinct organization from the Church of Satan. The Satanic Temple is an atheistic church in the legal sense, with some very basic principles that, if one feels they align with, one is invited to join the organization. That's it. That's the extent it goes to. No further. Every time you guys cannot figure this out when it's explained explicitly to you, it is a perfect example of how you do not fucking care about reality, about actual facts. And when someone fucking tells you exactly what something is, you're still going to go, and just put in whatever meaning you want. Because that's all you can do, is deny reality being what it is. I don't give a fuck about LaVey and Satanism. I don't give a fuck much about Anton LaVey. I think he has some style to him. I love the theatrics. I don't give a fuck about the Church of Satan. I'm neutral to Luciferianism. So far I've run into people who are fine on that end. And that's as far as it goes. And that's just the concept, the structure, the organizations, or the people. So there ain't no Satan. There's no God, there's no Jesus, there's none of that shit. It's one thing to have imaginary friends. It's another thing to have imaginary fucking enemies.
Some of his famous quotes are, "There is a beast in man that needs to be exorcised, not exorcised." His dying words were, oh my, what have I done? There is something very wrong. There is something very wrong. Gandhi, when he died...
Yeah, that last quote from Anton LaVey, if it even is what he actually said, I would say that too if I mixed like a drink for myself and I wound up putting cyanide in it as opposed to, whatever other ingredient could somehow be confused for. It's like, there's something, what have I done? There's something very wrong here.
died, said, "For the first time in 50 years, I find myself in the slough of despond. All about me is darkness. I'm praying for light." He led a whole lot of people astray into Hinduism.
Kent, what the fuck? Gandhi wanted... This ass clown seriously miss the entire point of Gandhi's life, of what he actually did. What the fuck, Kent? The actual fuck? And you're supposed to have been a teacher? And you think that's what Gandhi's primary thing in life was? I don't know necessarily that he did any real... I'm going to use the word proselytizing just because it carries the meaning I want. Any kind of forcing of Hindu stuff. I think he seemed pretty damn focused on just the independence of India and then got fucking assassinated for it. I mean, what the fuck, Kent? And even if he did do any kind of pushing of Hinduism to people, in a country where pretty much everyone's fucking Hindu or some variation thereof or some tangential religion like Sikhism. Yes, I know they're separate, but they're geographically close, so similar, some similar origins there and the like, some similar concepts, and just it's part of the diaspora of the Indian people. Sorry, I'm getting myself worked up because Kent's just so fucking stupid. Even if that was the case, that is not at all what he's remembered for. He is remembered for being a prime example of nonviolent resistance to the British occupation of India, and as a strong protester of India being occupied as it was and helping bring about its independence. But that's what you want to say. The actual fuck, Kent. What a fucking asshole. I can't say the words I want to about you on YouTube. Because, ironically, with as little stuff as you've said here, as much as you've just read off your little script in perfectly normal text, you hadn't called anyone stupid, hadn't insulted anything too much. This is one of the worst videos you've ever done, saying some of the most reprehensible shit about people. And you're going to attack a world hero? Like Gandhi? What the fuck? Beyond twisting everyone else's words around, be they found accurate or not from my research, quick Google searches here. What the fuck, Kent? This guy. This fucking guy.
Anyway, Psalm 49, continue. He that seeth a wise man die, likewise the fool. For he seeth that the wise men die just like the fool, and the brutish person perish, and leave their wealth to others. Their inward thought is that their houses shall continue forever, and their dwelling places to all generations. They cast their lands after their own names.
Quick search says, yes, Gandhi promoted Hinduism in many ways, but also had a unique blend of religious beliefs that was influenced by many different traditions. So, still, when you hear the name Gandhi, do you think dude who went around preaching Hinduism, or do you think man who helped free India? Do you think nonviolent resistance? Do you think peaceful protest? Do you think, hero of liberty in the world? Yeah, I'm just coming up with Soviet-style titles to everyone in history because that's just that's just how my mind phrases things. Oh man, someone like me must have been in charge of naming all the awards back in all the socialist countries. Joke aside, seriously, what do you think of when you think of Gandhi? You don't think of Hindu. That's a secondary thing, partly because you're going to presume, oh, he's Indian, was probably Hindu. Or again, something very close by. But let's move on.
They think, boy, they built an empire, it's going to last. How many homes have you guys seen abandoned in Repton and around here? Just nice homes, just falling in.
Maybe there's no fucking jobs and nothing to do. Maybe the property values are so fucking shit that people can't even sell the places. Because, yeah, it's cheap, but you also have to shit in an outhouse. I don't know if I'm ready for that. I'd rather live anywhere else in this god-awful state where there's actually fucking civilization.
I bet the guy who built it thought it would last forever. Probably same with that one. Probably, oh man, took a lot of time and money on the trim work. Woo-wee.
No. People constructing things generally know they will not last forever. They know sometimes they will have a set lifespan and are to be demolished after a certain point, or they know that it should not likely last beyond a certain point. Look at Chernobyl. Think about all the time, effort, and energy that went into building that one power plant. And of course, after the 86 disaster, then with the shutdown of Reactor 2 in 91-92 range, Reactor 1 in 1996, and Reactor 3 in 2000, they've been in the process of decommissioning everything after having secured the Reactor 4 remains. It's eventually all going to be razed. The people who built it knew that it wouldn't last forever. I'm sure they hoped it would, but they know nothing lasts forever. People aren't stupid like that, Kent. The only people who think anything lasts forever are people like you, who think magic eternal Sky Daddy's gonna send them off to some magic paradise where their chromosomes get changed and all kinds of other magic bullshit. Yes, that's a fucking thing from him, apparently. And just seriously said that shit about Gandhi. I cannot get over that.
Nevertheless, man being in honor abideth not. He is like the beasts that perish. This is their way. This their way is their folly. Yet their posterity prove their sayings. Selah, stop.
Notice that he managed to put in the italics where they were important, but this is the only time I've heard him actually read the statement with the italics, that point to stress, actually read it properly. Congratulations, Kent, you actually noticed it there.
Think about it. Like sheep, they are laid in the grave. Rich man dies, you bury him. Poor man dies, you bury him.
Well, sometimes. Sometimes you just leave the poor man out wherever you find his ass. Because, rich people ain't got time to take care of other people. They're too busy paying for their fancy funerals and shit. Stopping traffic for miles around while they get paraded through. All because they spoke at some stupid church for like 40 years or some shit. Aronrod, a little while back, Aronrod did a video. This is in the past month, I want to say. He mentioned Pastor Adrian Rogers. That piece of shit taught at a church that is basically next way over from the neighborhood I grew up in. A major road that ran at the back of my neighborhood it still maintains its normal name, but it's also named after Adrian Rogers. Actually, I think it's the stretch of I-40 is named after him that runs by that mega church in my old neighborhood. They get shit like that. The poor man gets nothing. So, no, Kent, your rich people still get something special. And still more than other people get, regardless of your magic fairy tale bullshit. They get tributed and honored because they had money. They did something that society decided was good. But you got this magic book that tells people to stay poor, all while the people in charge are rich as fuck. All while the pastors are driving Bentleys and got mega churches and shit. You look at Bellevue Baptist and tell me, oh, they're not doing it for money, that they're being humble, that they're not taking wealth, and that they're being like this, they're being humble about it, realizing none of it matters in the grand scheme. Fuck that shit. Hypocritical sons of bitches, every last one of them.
Death shall feed on them, and the upright shall have dominion over them in the morning, and their beauty shall consume in the grave from their dwelling. But God will redeem my soul from the power of the grave. He shall receive me. Selah means stop and think. Be not afraid when one is made rich, when the glory of his house is increased. For when he dieth, he shall carry nothing away.
Yeah, and he's not going to leave it to the homeless. He's going to give it to his fucking kids or put it in some shit to where the next generation of spoiled brats with already good lives are just going to keep on having wonderful lives because they got old money. While everyone else is still out there struggling, suffering. Life may be a hell of a lot better for us right now, even in lower income positions, than it has been for many people, even in recent history. But it still fucking sucks. Because we have to know constantly about all these rich fucks. Donald Trump! Being able to do what the fuck ever. Why in the goddamn hell did Donald Trump get to go to Notre Dame reopening? But of course, I couldn't go because I ain't got money to fly over to France. I'm not an important dignitary. But my atheist ass cares a hell of a lot more for that building. A fucking Catholic cathedral. And I cried when it burned. Because I value it as a piece of human history and as an amazing piece of architecture. And I'm so glad it's reopened. Donald Trump, his ass gets to go there. I don't. Because he had money. Because he got status. Someone who doesn't appreciate shit but his own reflection in the damn mirror. Yeah. Sorry, I'm just ranting like a motherfucker right now. This man pissed me off. Seriously. Talking shit about Gandhi.
His glory shall not descend after him. Nothing, in case you don't know, is the zero with the rim knocked off. It's not even a zero. It's nothing. Carry nothing.
Oh, wait, Kent. Does this mean you understand the concept of a figurative nothing and an actual nothing? Because then cosmology should not be a problem for you. That means you should understand exactly what's meant by the true nothing versus the colloquial nothing. But no.
Though while he lived, he blessed his soul, had it made, T-bone steak, whatever he wanted. And men will praise thee when thou doest well to thyself. He shall go to the generation of his fathers, and shall never see light. Man that is in honor and understandeth not is like the beasts that perish. See, the atheists on their deathbed will...
Kent, if you care so much about this psalm and so much about the lack of money, get rid of every single piece of shit you have up there, all this production equipment, all of these books, and all this everything. Stop selling your DVDs and shit, and just stick to basics. Otherwise, you're as full of shit as every other preacher I've ever seen. As you like to say, a hypocrite.
Tell you, look, we made a mistake. Christians, people who live their life, eventually you get to the point where you realize you're going to leave it all behind. Best advice anybody can get from Jesus Christ. Take no thought what we shall eat or what we shall drink, where shall we be clothed. After all these things do the Gentiles seek.
You're pretty close to the Grim Reaper, Kent. Hate to say. I'm not trying to wish ill will on you, but that's just a statistical fact. Maybe you should start thinking about giving away your shit. Just a thought.
Your Heavenly Father knows you need these things. Seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness. All these things shall be added to you. Are you doing that? That's what God wants. Just find out what his will is for your life and do it. First, it's almost Christmas. Come on now, think about it. This would be a perfect time.
Well, it would seem, given the positive feedback, that if this deity exists, their purpose for me is to rip into you until I just get sick and tired of it. And so far, I'm not tired, Kent. Sick of it? Definitely, because you're a detestable waste of life. But I'm going to keep doing it, because I have fun. And my audience has fun listening to me. Shout out to the audience. Much love. Y'all are awesome. Kent, however, sucks. Let's finish this up.
You to give your heart to the Lord. If you've never asked him to come in and save you, why don't you do it? I use the illustration, an acorn. Hang on. Psalm 50 here.
I don't know how to use my fucking slides, and now I'm back to Windows. Oh, no!
That's for tomorrow night.
I don't even know my own bullshit story. I gotta have my slides to read off of, because I'm Ken Hovind, and I don't know a goddamn thing about anything. I've been running this script for 30 years and still don't know what the fuck it means. Hovind?
Psalm 2205. O-D-V 2205. Okay. An acorn knows how to make an oak tree. All the scientists in the world cannot make an acorn let alone an oak tree. Come on, guys, make an acorn. Let's see. That'll work. You stick it in the ground and it grows into a tree. Each one of those acorns knows how to make an entire tree. But it can only work if the dirt will let it come in. All the scientists in the world can't make it.
Yes. Kent comparing people to dirt. That's the way you attract them to your religion.
An acorn. They're dumber than a nut. They've studied the nut in great detail and know a lot about it, how it germinates, but they can't make one. It knows how to do the tree, how to make a tree, but it can't do its job if the dirt won't let it come in. Jesus knows how to make a whole new...
Dirt has no sentience. It doesn't allow things to enter or leave, or enter or be rejected by its own discretion. It simply happens. That's what the tree is relying on, the fact that things will get covered up. Come on, Kent. Sitting that hard.
person out of you, but he can't do it unless you let him come in. Why don't you make today?
Why not? Motherfuckers got magic powers. They can do whatever the fuck they want. You're telling me my willpower is stopping magic infinite power Sky Daddy from popping in? That's ridiculous. I'd love to see your explanation or hear your explanation for that one.
December 17th, your birthday into God's family. Just say, Lord, I'm a sinner. I deserve your judgment. I'm guilty. But I believe you died for me. Please forgive me.
Yep, sacrifice myself to myself for laws that I made up that I won't immediately forgive people for. So they've got to believe that I sacrificed myself to myself and just had kind of a crummy weekend and that was like an ultimate sacrifice. Makes no fucking sense, Kent. Just think about it. Do you just stop and think for a minute, Kent?
Hey, Lord, please come into my heart and save me. Amen. The Bible says if you came to his own received him not. But if you receive him, you become a son of God. This is your birthday into God's family. Then you just need to grow. Just receive him. You're born not of blood nor of flesh nor of the will of man. You're born of God. Jesus said you got to be born again to see the kingdom of God. You got to be born again. And if you accept Christ that moment, you are born again. If you believe on him, you're not condemned. So call me. If you prayed and asked the Lord to save you, I'd like to hear about it. We can give you some ideas to help you grow.
Yeah, consisting of buying all your DVDs and books and shit.
855-BIG-DINO, extension 3. I take calls all day long. Be glad to help. All right, any questions or comments, brother, real quick?
Yeah, we got a few comments.
Okay. Keep up the good work, brother, but in humility. I'm writing a book, The World's 3 Most Humble People and How I Trained the Other 2.
Say the same jokes over and over. So I'm Ken Hovind. I get the same boomer material for 30 fucking years.
That'd be a bestseller one. At Encounter Town with a lady, her name Galena. Her daughter was at ICU 5 days and still touch and go. Pray for Galena and Hannah. Well, let's do that. Heavenly Father.
Yeah, okay, so they're in ICU. So you've got science keeping the kid alive. And I do hope things work out. But you got science keeping the kid alive, but Magic Sky Daddy is the real decider of everything. The same one that could just make the situation not be an issue. But doesn't do it because, you know, reasons. God, Ken.
Father, I pray right now for these folks in the ICU, Lord. I pray that you give the doctors wisdom to know what to do.
These folks in the ICU, and fuck you, those doctors know more than your God does, because your God only knows as much as you do, which in your case, Kent, is jack diddly shit.
I pray that you have your will, Lord.
In other words, I hope you do this stuff, but I mean, it's going to be whatever you want, thus making this prayer completely fucking useless.
Just have your will in this whole family now, in Jesus' name. Amen.
Have your way with them. I'm Ken Hovind. I like having my way with things. Hovind.
I recommend if you have health problems or issues, call Patrick Urish about vitamins and minerals that can, I think, undo lots of the health problems people.
Oh, there he goes promoting that bullshit. Or go to an actual doctor and seek actual medical advice. How about that? Because I think they know better than some random fucker I've never heard of. Or this fucker on screen. You know, tells you need to take a fucking cattle prod or something to a fucking snake bite. Went to the hospital for a snake bite. I wonder why.
He's one of our trustees. Can you guys his number up there on the screen? Patrick Urish, could you have that someplace?
I might have it,
Yeah. International Health Practitioner, IHP. Let's see.
No, I had to add it to my catalog.
Okay, we'll put it up. Just call it office Yeah, he's done programs here on our channel. Wow, guys, we aren't here for the tribulation. We will start belief in Antichrist and they will give all to the government. We are here for the tribulation. Sorry about that. Yeah. Okay, is that it?
And here's Kent being completely illiterate. Not to knock illiterate people, although I don't see how that happens in the modern era, but it still apparently is an issue. But, again, Kent's supposed to be much more skilled than that.
Thank you. All right. Our crew, we got popcorn and ice cream and movie night. Let's go. See you. Bye.
We're gonna watch the Ten Commandments. But it's the cheap version. We can't afford a VHS copy of the Charlton Heston one. He's in league with the devil, don't you know? Well, that was a video. That was definitely a video. Little touch and go there, but I know y'all enjoy this stuff. I'm always the harshest critic of my own work. Appreciate you for being here, as always. Hope you had some fun. Hope the video found you at a point where the laugh helped. Or if you needed help, where the laugh helped. Not that I wish you needed help. This is the thing. I think about what I say. Unlike Kent, who just spills diarrhea of the mouth constantly. But yeah, hope everything's going good. If not, I'm sorry. Hope very much it'll get better. Y'all know where to find me. Easy to talk to. Just, stay safe out there. Take it easy. Chair go squeak. Later.